Welcome back to Llandau in South Wales for round one of the FAB Racing British Minibikes Championship. It's the Minimoto Elite class for liquid cool bikes. Up next, here's a rider lineup. This is in grid position order. Bailey Stewart Campbell, you won't see much of him, he's invisible. Going off P2, it's Emmanuel Brinton on the 93, 9 years of age from Brighton and Hove. Evan Belford comes next from Warwickshire, age just 10 years of age. Also 10 is Ollie Walker from Somerset, he rides the 48 bike. Mason Foster, we've already seen him in that Minimoto Pro race, finishing second. He comes next from Johnny Garness, winner of that Minimoto Pro race. He's on the 57 bike once more. Josh Bannister comes next on the 2 bike, the 8-year-old from Nuneaton. Casey O'Gorman, last year's champion, well down the field starting this one. 10 years of age, obviously from Ireland originally. Ron Hitchcock comes next on the 43. Then Harrison Crosby, the 11-year-old from Ashford in Kent, riding the 69 bike. Sullivan Moutsey comes next, 10 years of age from London. He goes off P11. Off P12, it's Jack Kirsch on the 96. Off P13, it is Troy Jeffrey riding the 21 bike, 9 years of age from Scotland. Kelso to be specific. Lucas Brown comes next on the 29, 9 years of age from West Sussex. Cameron Saul, a multiple winner in the Minimoto rookie class in his second season. He comes next from Joe Farraher on the 47 bike, the 12-year-old from Northwich. Then comes Carl Payne riding the 25 machine, 11 years of age from Thatcham. Charlie Tilley comes next. He rides the 95 machine, the 10-year-old. He goes off P18. Off P19, it's Taylor Stewart Campbell. Off P20, it's James Cook. No video images for either of those riders. Then comes Ron Harris riding the 66 bike, goes off P21. Off P22, it's Ethan Sparks riding the 62 bike. And rounding out the grid, 23 riders in this one. Riding 125, it's Ben Jolliffe. Some say I'm Robin to my commentary colleague Batman, otherwise known as Jake Sanson.
Well, you're certainly not Wonder Woman, Alan, that's for sure.
Is that an ugly joke there, Jake?
It might have been. It might have been. Anyway, we'll move on to the start of Minimoto Elite. Stuart Campbell and Brinton from the start, and already it's an electrifying getaway as they work their way through. Much faster off the line, these guys. They've got a lot more confidence, and they're a bit more gung-ho as we ride on board with Mason Foster. Once again, the riders pick their way through those first few corners. On the inside, take a look at how close that was to total and utter disaster. On the first few corners of the first lap, we are on the action here.
The poleman Bailey Stewart comes, have a look. Look at that. Oh, Emmanuel Brinton's knee just catches his front tyre. He gets away with it though. Bailey Stewart Campbell through on Emmanuel Brinton. He had the pole position, Bailey Stewart Campbell, obviously lost it. Race leader there started pole, the 99 machine. But was having none of that on the first lap, wants to get that lead and wants to be dictating things at the front. Here comes Evan Belford down the inside and Belford through to second.
Well, considering how much was at stake going into that corner on the very first lap of the race, that has to be the move of the weekend thus far from Bailey Stewart Campbell, just forcing the issue on the inside of Brinton. I'm not going to lose this lead, mate. I'm just going straight back on the inside. Take that.
And following him through as well in the final turn there was Evan Belford, now in second place, starting P3 of course. Up to second, there he is, in the grey machine. That's Emmanuel Brinton on the K-Tech suspension bike. Now running third, starting P2.
It's a very feisty first couple of laps of the season in Minimoto Elite, but out in front, it is still a good battle. Looks like Casey O'Gorman's just losing a place there, down to 8th position. He will fight his way back if he gets an opportunity. Beautiful pictures from the drone overhead as we look at this magnificent, majestic Llandau circuit. It's always provided us with great action in the FAB Racing paddock. Stuart Campbell leads, Belford, Brinton, Walker, Garness, Foster. That's Josh Bannister battling away with Casey O'Gorman, and coming into the shot behind them as well as Ryan Hitchcock. So all of the major players from the grid are still there within the top 10. These three riders out front are really trying to stretch out the gap. Bailey Stewart Campbell from that man, Evan Belford in second position. Brinton in third at the moment. Oh, no, it's Belford! Belford down! Unbelievable!
It looks like he may have just got it out on that wet patch. There's a slight wet patch, wet line in the middle of the track. He may have just got his front wheel on that and it tucked underneath him.
It looks like he can get going again, so he might be able to salvage something from this first race, but that is devastating for Evan Belford.
He needs a James Rose Jr. type of comeback. We saw James Rose Jr. have some sort of issue out of shot of the cameras in the last race, and he made a great comeback to come back through the field, finished 7th, I think, Jake. And that is the sort of ride we need to see now from Evan Belford.
Yes, indeed. Bannister's made a couple of nice moves. Look at him come through. Josh Bannister on the 2 bike has just popped his way on the inside there of Johnny Garnes to move up. Nice battle further down the field as well. You get battles all the way through this grid. That's one of the things we love about the Cool Fab Racing paddock. You get so many riders in the grid. Oh, and that's another fall. Now that is the 44 bike. That's Sullivan Mounsey who's gone down. So Mounsey didn't look like too bad a fall actually. So I think he should be able to get going again.
I think that may be James Cook actually. I'm sure that is James Cook's bike. It says 44, Jake, but I'm thinking.
Oh yes, I think you might be
right.
right.
44. That doesn't look like Sullivan Mounsey's leathers.
No, fair enough. No, it's easy to mistake. So James Cook, the 144 bike it was that's gone down. Yes, you're right. Sullivan Mounsey is still in position behind these guys. So that makes sense. He is still knocking on the door of the top 10, Sullivan Mounsey. So fair play and well called. So still a close battle here. We're watching Casey O'Gorman, Ryan Hitchcock. And now that's Evan Belford leading a queue of bikes behind. So Belford has got going again and is starting the comeback. Here we go. How far through the field can Evan Belford rejuvenate himself?
Casey O'Gorman there on the blue bike, last year's champion. He's struggling today. This is the battle for 6. Normally, that graphic would say battle for the lead with Casey O'Gorman's name in it. But he's obviously got some sort of issue with the bike. But he's got a load of character, Casey. He will know that this is a long season. It's a problem with the bike. Just get as many points as I can out of it. And that's one of the things we love about Casey O'Gorman. He's on it all the time. If he's got a problem with the bike, he doesn't allow the red mist to descend. He stays with it and rescues as many points as possible. And that's what you've got to do when you're in these circumstances. Last year's champion down in 6th place.
Well, that fall from Belford, we've got yellow flags out. I think that's got to be for Cook's bike. But the yellow flags are out, so they can't overtake. But the battle for second is now between Brinton and Ollie Walker, thanks to Belford going down. So that's going to be an interesting one. Yes, all of a sudden, Belford going down has released Bailey Stewart Campbell. The pressure's off, so he's gone, right, let's see how big a lead I can pull. And he is absolutely disappearing. He's out of the Dell before these two even approach it. That's absolutely incredible pace from Bailey Stewart Campbell. Look, he's just opened up the taps. See you later, alligators. And down the back straight. This is brilliant for Walker now to close up on Emmanuel Brinton. Walker might have a shout at second position here. Behind them, we've still got that very close battle for 4th position. That is the tussle between Garnes and Foster, although Foster has slipped back a little bit now to behind. Now, where is Foster? It was Garnes in 4th position. Let's look back. It's a few seconds before they get there. Well, that is still the battle between the 2nd and 3rd place riders.
Brinton and Walker.
Brinton soaking up all of the pressure here. This is the thing. We saw it earlier on from the battle in the Minimoto rookies. You've just got to soak up the pressure for the entirety of, and there's battles everywhere you look, as you see.
That's 47 Joe Farraher battling with Cameron Saul on the 100 bike, on the blue bike. Back with this battle for 2nd and 3rd. Here's that battle for 4th and 5th, Jake.
We've got 3 pairs. That's Bannister battling away for 4th position in front of Garnes. And now we've got Hitchcock versus Foster. So Casey O'Gorman has slipped down to 8th position behind these guys. But it's 3 pairs at the moment as they run around together. That's the 2nd place battle. That is Brinton and Walker. Then we look back. Bannister being hassled by Garnes. Look at Garnes all over the place trying to make his way through. And then Hitchcock in front of Mason Foster. So that is 3 pairs battling for 2nd, 4th and 6th.
Great race action here in the Minimoto Elite class. Emmanuel Brinton, will see him in the Mini GP 50 race coming up after this one. He has been on fire out in Spain testing on his Mini GP 50 bike. Saw some footage from Spain recently. That's the race leader. Here is Brinton, man I was just talking about. Saw some footage from him out in Spain on the Mini GP 50. That race coming up in the next part. He has been on fire in that class. Came into it last season, halfway through the season. In his 2nd appearance at Wilton Mill, was hounding the eventual champion, Casey O'Gorman. That is Brinton. And Ollie Walker there in 3rd place as we go into the last lap. Of course, many of you watching here on YouTube will remember Ollie from Tattershall last year became world famous. And I say that because 2.4 million of you WhatsApp Minimoto Pro Race when Ollie crashed out whilst leading, if you remember that one, Jake.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the most spellbinding moments of the championship's history, never mind 2017. A really exciting duel in the closing stages of the 2017 season. And these two are still battling away for second position to get the start of the season to an electrifying crescendo. But out in front, Bailey Stewart-Campbell has just marched on ahead and is going to take the first victory of the 2018 campaign in the Cool Fab Racing Minimoto Elite Grid. Out of the final turn, Bailey Stewart-Campbell, take a bow, take a wheelie over the line. Fantastic display.
He's going to have to work on the wheelies.
Yeah, but absolutely dominant display. Oh, no, the last
Kyle
lap!
Payne. That's Kyle Payne going down.
Oh, no! Last lap as well. What a disastrous way for Kyle Payne's race to end. But across the line, Brinton from Walker. Bannister is going to beat Garnis to the line. Good lad, Kyle Payne. Get back on the bike, finish the race. Very character building.
Yeah, like to see that.
There's O'Gorman. There's Belford behind him. So Belford has fought his way back to 9th behind Casey O'Gorman. Brilliant work there. So O'Gorman 8th, Belford 9th, and rounding out the top 10, Troy Jeffrey. Great race here at Landau, a perfect start to the season. Look at this, battles all the way to the death. It's Mounsey 11th from Brown, Kirsch, Sewell and Farragher. And we've got absolutely brilliant racing into the final chicane, into the final hairpin. It all goes right down to the line. Look at that.
A comfortable victory in race 1 of the 2018 season for Bailey Stewart-Campbell. Emmanuel Brinton in second from Ollie Walker, Josh Bannister and Johnny Garnes running up the top 5. Bailey Stewart-Campbell would go on to win all 3 races over the weekend to give himself a comfortable championship lead from Casey O'Gorman, who came back in race 2 and 3 to finish second both times. Join us in part 4 for the first of our Mini GP races. It's Mini GP 50. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell alongside the subscribe button, which will give you a notification every time we upload new content. Thanks for watching.